Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. How's everybody doing today? It is Friday. Yes, we made it to Friday. And it's good to see all your smiley faces. This is our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series that we have been doing for 430 episodes, I believe. I think this is the 430th episode. Hey, congratulations, everybody. We made it to 430 episodes in like a year and 2 months' time. That is absolutely amazing. Congratulations, congratulations. All the fabulous guests who've been on the show, all of the viewers, our lovely viewers who watch from all around the world, supporting and watching the show and tagging and commenting and subscribing to our YouTube channel and all the cool things you guys have been doing. Very active in our Facebook group, JMS Live, Lovely Hall, and all the other cool things that we've been doing. We're working on a lovely cruise, yes, to Bermuda coming up next year. And a lot of cool things that we have in store for this series. I mean, every day and every month, it's something different. It's something unique. We've been here just about 7 days a week live for 430 episodes. Boy, do we have some exciting new things. You've probably seen some of the tweaking we've been doing production-wise and with the look of the show and the feel of the show. Some really cool upgrades we've done and a lot more to follow. Plus a lot of interactivity. We also have the super chat, super emojis, super stickers, super thanks, which you can be a part of live during our actual show. That's in the chat section. If you're chatting right now and commenting, you'll see on the top, there's these super stickers, super emojis. It's kind of fun stuff YouTube is doing. And I guess our show reached a milestone where they're offering us the ability to offer that to the viewers, where you can actually post a comment. And when you do the super emojis, super stickers, super chat, and now as of this week, we reached another milestone where we can offer super thanks. It's like where you're thanking us for doing the show, which we really appreciate. And all of that helps the show as well. And we super highlight your live comments during chat. It appears in a bold color. We show it on the air, and I personally thank you as well, which I'm very happy to do. You know me, conversational, freestyle, welcoming, and we always have a good time. This is our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, patterned after the old school talk shows with a modern vibe and modern twist of today. And it's cool to have all of you here. And guess what? Friday night, we toast all of you. Hope everybody is doing well. And cheers to you from wherever you're watching around the world. Hope you've got your drink of choice, even if it's just H2O, just something to refresh. Very nice. So how's everybody this evening? I say this evening, for some of you, it's already, watching in Europe and other places, it's already morning time, or you could be watching this in the afternoon later or whatever time it is. Whatever time of day it is, gang, it's always cool. It's always fantastic to have each and every one of you here, a part of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We've been working really hard behind the scenes with this series, with these epic shows. And again, we've got so much more to deliver your way. We're going to be doing more of those pop-up shows and on location, a lot of cool stuff. So we welcome you. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here joining us tonight. And we always celebrate all of you. And a big hello to all the lovities. The lovities are the viewers who watch from all around the world, who are really faithful. They're here all the time. And if this is your first time watching the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, well, we welcome you as well. It's cool to have you here. Spread the word about our show. Of course, stay with us. We have a lot of exciting things that are coming up that we're working on behind the scenes. 430 episodes, and we're just getting started, gang. While you're there on our YouTube channel, we would love it if you subscribe to the channel you're watching right now, which is Jim Masters TV. That's the red button you see there that says subscribe. Click that. Click the notification icon too, so you'll be notified when we do our live shows, which is just about every day. And also surprise pop-up shows and a whole heck of a lot more that we have developing with another series we're developing on Jim Masters TV as well. Stay tuned for that. So click that notification bell. Also, while you're on the YouTube channel, give a thumbs up on the YouTube channel to this episode, to this video. We would love that. That really helps us too. What it does is when you give a thumbs up and leave a comment on our YouTube channel, YouTube then takes this episode and they blast it out to more people. So more people can see these shows when the viewers who love the show give it a thumbs up, like on the YouTube channel. And when you comment, they follow all of that. And so do we. And we're very responsive to and interactive with all of you. And again, we mentioned the super chat, super emojis, super thanks, and all the cool things that are available during chat as well. That's a really cool new thing that's happening. We invite you to take advantage of that. And of course, as mentioned in our promotions, we've got a great guest tonight, the one and only Tony, nominated producer, and so much more. She's a love coach. Yeah. You didn't know that, did you? She's got a fabulous book out. There's a lot of other things she does. Of course, Tony, nominated producer, claim to fame, but so much more to Robin Gorman Newman, who's a wonderful friend, joining us here live from New York on the show. So we welcome you all, and let's check in quickly with some of our lovities. We have a lot of new people who've joined us recently too, who have become lovities, regulars on JMS Live, and we welcome you all. Dawn is here. Good to see you once again, Dawn. Hello to you. Thanks for the hello. And Maureen is here from Arizona. For those of you, anybody new, let us know where you're watching from, what city, what state, what country, because we do have an international audience that watches our show live and also in the archives. Oh, thank you, sweet angels of mercy. We made it to the weekend. I'm so happy to be back in my happy place. That is Loverty Hall. And I'm really looking forward to tonight's conversation with Robin. Robin has been so excited about this. We planned this weeks and weeks ago. And we wanted to have her on the show. And she's so excited. She's been telling everybody. And we appreciate that. And hello from Jane, who's watching in Sweden. Good to see you, Jane, in Sweden. Always wonderful when you're here as well. Alessandra is here from North Carolina, and she goes, hi, everyone. How are you all doing? We're doing fantastic, and hope you are as well. Sherry is watching in Kansas, USA. Hello, everyone. It's the weekend. Yeah, perfect. And we are here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern with celebrity and nationally certified pet sitter Heather Branch is going to be with us live from Los Angeles, 3 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. That's going to be really, really cool, talking about pets and so much more. It's going to be really a cool show. And then on Sunday, Ruby O'Kelly, the 16-year-old phenom Irish soprano, is going to be with us on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, and England. She's going to be live from Ireland. She's also going to perform live on Sunday. So even though it's the weekend, we're still working, delivering content and shows for all of you here on the Jim Master Show Live. Mary Bishop is here. Hello, Jim and lovely friends from Mary. Good to see you, Mary, in Pine Island, Florida. Love it, love it, love it. And Alessandra says, got to keep busy while waiting for the show to start. So I'm crocheting a baby Yoda. Did you finish it in time before the music started and our theme song played? You're always keeping busy there in North Carolina. We love it. Dawn is watching from Kankakee, Illinois, USA. I love it. Hope that's how you say it. And Robin, thrilled to see you live. Thank you very much for joining us. A new lovety here as well. And Rose is here. Rose from Long Island, New York. Good to see you, Rose. That's where I'm originally from. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. Born and raised, and we are here in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. We're here in the New York area on the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. Very beautiful day. We literally just got in from a walk along the coast, and it was Today's a stunning day. It's absolutely beautiful here in the Northeastern United States. Nice to see you on the island, right? On the island. Long Island. Alessandra says, all is good here in North Carolina. We love that. Rose says, doing well, thank you. And thank you very much, Dawn, for the greetings as well. A cruise sounds amazing. Yeah, we're working on a Lovity cruise, and a lot of our viewers have been asking about it, and they love it, love it, love it. Chris is watching in Northern Ireland. What's the last movie you watched, Jim? I'll have to think about that. It wasn't a brand new movie. It was an older, nostalgic movie. Let me think about that, and I'll try to post it by the end of the show. Good to see you there in Northern Ireland. High five. Congrats on show number 430. That's longer sometimes than some Broadway shows and TV shows and so much more. But boy, are we having a ball with all of you as well. Merlin in Canada is here with claps, claps, claps. She's in Ontario. And thank you for the congrats. I love that from Alessandra. Wow. Chris says, hi, Jim. Love the jacket. Thank you very much. There's actually pants to match. It's part of a suit. Love that from Jane in Sweden. Thank you very much. Again, this is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series, so we always like to greet our viewers and everybody that's watching. Kathy Short in Cleveland. Hello, Jim and Lovities. Welcome to the weekend. Good to see you, Kathy. Kathleen. I bet, Kathy, when you hear somebody say Kathleen, you sort of sit up straight, right? When you hear Kathleen. Elise is here. Elise, welcome. Hi, Robin. It's Elise and Richard. Welcome to the show, Elise. Nice to see you here on the Jim Masters Show Live, Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show Series. Those of you watching for the first time, we welcome you. We're here all the time. Elise says, hello from Manhattan, New York. Love it. June Rachelson Osper, our dear friend, watching from Maryland. Hey there, all. Good to see you, June, checking in as well. And everybody that's here, everybody, look at all these great names, regular Lovities and new folks that are joining us as well. Nice to welcome you guys. I know you guys will be posting away during the course of the show, and we invite you to do that. And again, leave a comment on our YouTube channel as well after the show or during the show. We would love that as well. Good to see everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. It's time to not only converse with you and welcome you, and we do that a lot on this show. We like to have conversations with our viewers, and sometimes we do host Chat Lovely surprise pop-up shows where I'm just chatting with the viewers and we're going back and forth. I do that as well often, and we're overdue for one of those again. As you can see on the screen, Tony-nominated producer, our wonderful friend Robin Gorman Newman, is here live from New York. She's all excited. I want to tell you a little bit about her. Of course, I'm sure you're very familiar with so much of her extraordinary work. Don't you just love that shot? She's just so friendly and just so welcoming in that shot. It's a great one. She's founder of the RGM Theatrical LLC, which is a Tony Award nominated Broadway producer for Natasha, Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. She's a lifelong theater lover and freelance writer. She's blogged regularly about theater and shows and personalities, and has written for TDF Stages, Huffington Post, New York Magazine, and City Guide as well. Robin was associate producer of Motherhood Out Loud, which was at the primary stages. You may have had an opportunity to see that. Another fabulous performance as well. She is a supporter of Page 73, Jack, Brooklyn, New York. Also involved in the marketing efforts, including the orchestration of a mom blogger night and the creation of the Motherhood Out Loud Award, which is reported by BroadwayWorld.com, our friends at Broadway World as well. She also, with the Actors Fund and the Lilly Awards, conceived and led a panel entitled From the Page to the Stage as part of the American Society of Journalists and Authors annual New York City conference. She was also assembled and moderated a panel by the same name at Broadway Con 2017 and assisted with PR efforts, resulting in a feature on the founder in Crane's New York business. She recently moderated a panel at Broadway Con 2021, New and in Development. She's also the founder of Lifelong Theater Lovers and Supporters, a growing community, which is on Facebook, and she's currently producer of 2 forthcoming Broadway musicals too, and has been involved as well as an investor. She's also authored the books How to Meet a Mensch. You know, it's very funny. Craig Allen, who's a dear friend from WCBS News 88 Radio, you also have seen him on Channel 2, Channel 11. He called me a mensch once. He says, Jim, you're a real mensch. A mensch is actually a very positive name, a positive word. So authored the books, How to Meet a Mensch in New York and How to Marry a Mensch, which is a decent, responsible person. Thank you, Craig Allen, my buddy, the meteorologist, weatherman. She's currently developing this with her producing partner as an off-Broadway and beyond musical. She's been featured in the New York Times and seen on CNN and the Today Show, and has made appearances off-Broadway as an author and love coach, participating in talkbacks at shows including I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change, Dinner with Friends, and she's lectured extensively as well, doing nationwide Zoom presentations to inspire menschhood. We'll talk about that as well. This is just the short list. She's on the board of the New York Theater Barn. She's involved with On Broadway and so much more. Without further ado, let's welcome her live and direct from New York City, our dear friend, Robin Gorman Newman. Robin, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I love that when we were first chatting before we went live on the air, you thanked me for coming. And I said, no, I should thank you for coming on the show. And then we said, you know what? Let's thank each other. People don't thank each other enough, right?
That's what mensches do. Mensches appreciate each other.
Right. And it just comes naturally. I want to show you some of our famous levity here on our show. Ann Wozniak is watching in Jacksonville, Florida. And she says, hello, everyone. She's welcoming you. Rose Levy is here. She says, welcome, Ann. We love that. June is here as well. Hi, Ann. Alessandra, welcome to Levity Hall, as everybody calls this, Levity Hall. Says, hello, Robin. And June says, hey, Robin. We love that as well. Now, look at all these great welcomes coming in here. Everybody says, Rose is saying, great photo of Robin, a true talent. We love it. And then they all say hello to each other, too, which I think is really, really cool. Lisa's here from Manhattan. Cool stuff. Thanks for all the great welcomes and all the nice hellos and everything that you guys are saying. It's really, really beautiful. Rose says, welcome, Robin. So happy to see you here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So how have you been? I know you're always very busy. Kathy Short in Cleveland says welcome. Jane in Sweden says welcome, Robin. Lots of welcomes. We roll out the red carpet on the Jim Masters Show Live here for you.
Warm. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. How have you been, you know, with all the craziness we've all experienced the last several months here, having to pivot, having to sort of refocus, and it's also given us reason to pause and look at the mirror and explore ourselves a little bit more and say, hey, what do we want to do next with the chapters of our story going forward? How about Robin Gorman Newman? What have you been working on over the course of the last many months?
I've been very productive, actually. I'm grateful for that because God has been challenging for all of us, and I know it could go either way because some people haven't been that productive. But for me, just diving into stuff has always worked best. And yes, we know theater has been closed, but that said, there's been so much amazing virtual work. I have to say that it's been really encouraging, really exciting. I've been developing, and I also joined the board, as you mentioned, of New York Theater Barn, and they were hosting a new work series every week for a long time. And that really felt like my lifeblood, Jim, just to have that connection, to be in that Zoom room and to see all the creativity is exciting because when we come out of this, there's going to be a lot to look forward to.
That is fantastic. That is exciting. And congratulations and all that and breaking news there. And it is coming back. And, you know, everybody's been working hard to make sure that it comes back and safely in all the different ways. When things sort of halted back in March of last year, which seems like ages ago already, what were some of the things you were working on? So many people, Robin, that I've talked to have been saying things like, oh, 2020 was really going to be the year for them. They had so many things planned and so many things arranged. People who have tours were sold out. I mean, just all these things. 2020, I think, because it was the start of a decade, and 2020 just has a nice sound to it. There was a lot of things that people had ready to go, and then it all stopped. When you
Yeah.
got phone calls and emails and things of that nature, what were you doing when the world sort of came to this big pause?
Yeah, I mean, my heart gets heavy just being asked that question. I was actually, March 11th was the last day that I was in New York City. I live in Great Neck, New York, Long Island. And
Yes.
I was feeling like things weren't going to go well. And I sensed that Broadway was going to close. I didn't think it was going to close the next day. And that was exactly what happened. And I was actually at a big event on March 11th. I remember that date so clearly. And it was the Women on Broadway that's hosted every year by Disney. And I was there with a lot of colleagues, although some chose not to attend. And it was really freaky, Jim, because the
Yeah.
virus was here, but one had masks. That wasn't being talked about. You couldn't even find a mask. So
Mm.
armed with my Lysol wipes and my rubber gloves and wiping down the armrest in the theater and trying not to mingle that much. But it was a huge crowd. And in hindsight, I loved being there, but I feel like I dodged a major bullet. And I knew at that point that I might not be back in New York City for some time. And that was exactly what happened. And we actually had tickets to Mrs. Doubtfire that Friday. And I was saying to my husband, like, are we going to go? Do we, like, what is this going to look like? And then they announced theater closing the next day.
Mm. Yeah. And then just everything came to a
Sad.
pause. How have you stayed creative and connected and collaborative and sane, if at all, through it all? And usually when I ask the sane part, everybody says, Jim, I'm not there yet. I'm not sane yet. Get back to
Yeah.
me on the sane part.
I think the sanity comes and goes. You know, it depends on the event. I would say, in terms of how I kept busy, I've really never not been busy. I am developing a show, as you mentioned, inspired by my book, How to Marry a Mensch, which with my producing partner, Fern Kershaw. And we're super excited because it feels like coming out of this pandemic, and we will eventually come out of it, that the world needs all the mensches it can get. And if we can inspire a mensch movement, then that's part of our hope with the show. So it's felt really good working on that these past number of months. And we hired our full creative team, and they're now writing. And to be employing people, to be creating new work is just a really thrilling process. So that's been part of what I've been working on. And then I've been doing into all readings and workshops and connecting with new people. And I've actually found it a very inspiring time to meet new people. And I've attended some theater conferences virtually that I probably would not have gone to. I've also become active on Clubhouse, which has
Mm.
been super fun. I'm involved with the club on Broadway there, and that's been a cool way to meet new people. So I've really been like seizing the moment and just trying to foster new connections and just dig a little deeper with those I already knew. And I've had some really heartfelt conversations.
That's fantastic. How did you first get started
Yeah.
in theater, in the theater world? What were some of those early influences and inspirations in your life, Robin, early on for you?
Well, I grew up with show music playing in the house. I have strong recollection of La Mancha and Fiddler on the Roof. And my mom was a big theater fan, and she always took me. So that was where it started. And then from there, in school and high school, I was involved with some of the musicals. I was actually cast as an angel in Anything Goes, which is kind of funny because I can't sing at all, but they were pretty open minded at that time.
Oh boy, we were going to ask you
So
to
that
sing
was
a tune
good.
tonight.
And then I had props for another show. And then I moved on to college. And in college, I was actually writing for the school newspaper. I became the arts editor. So I became a little more journalistically oriented.
Yeah.
And then I was a French minor in college. I went to Hofstra, which was kind
Hofstra,
of a
yeah.
big theater. Yeah, it was a
Hmm.
big theater school. And I had a chance to see a lot of productions there. And one of the courses that I took was a French drama class where I actually had to act in French.
Wow.
So that was kind of a little unique experience, I would say.
Yes, yes. Hofstra, good school. And I went just
Yeah.
north of there in the North Shore to Long Island University to Post. Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Good school.
okay.
Yeah, right there in the North Shore in Brookville. Yeah. Not far from Great Neck, actually. Brookville and that area there,
Yes.
Greenvale on the North
Yeah.
Shore.
Not far.
Yeah. So that
Yeah, I had some cool
really,
people when I was there, like Phil Rosenthal. Do you know Phil Rosenthal?
oh,
Who
sure. Yes. Yeah.
Everybody Loves Raymond. He was ahead of me, but he was acting in the shows at that time. I Robert Cullen, who came from there, and it's another guy. I'm blanking on his name, but it was a real breeding ground for some actors who went on to success.
Tell us about your involvement in the actual production and investment and just your belief in theater and in musicals specifically. How did that all come to pass for you?
I've always felt like theater has the power to change lives. And for me, theater is my longtime place, which is why
Mm,
this last year and a half, especially, has been so hard.
yeah.
But I just appreciated work. Musicals speak to me. I really love a story that leaves me thinking when I come out of the theater. And that's one of the things of it, because I think messages can be conveyed through shows. And yes, it's an entertainment vehicle. But I like it when they dig a little deeper, you know.
Yes. Yeah. So, what was the very first one that you had an opportunity to get involved in?
The first was Motherhood Out Loud, and that's actually kind of a funny story. And you mentioned it was at primary stages, and look at all the things that I've done, and you mentioned some of them because I work as a love coach for singles. I also
Yes, we're going to
fast
talk
forward,
about that too.
yeah. And I was
And
thinking
the
you need
book
a
you
love
wrote.
coach on your Lovity cruise.
Yeah,
That
that's
kind of
right. The
came up for
Lovely
me.
Love Coach is in the house tonight.
Yeah, that's
Submit
right.
your
Happy
questions,
to answer
folks.
any. Yeah,
That's
happy to answer
that's
any
right.
dating questions. Fire away. But I also launched an organization for moms called Motherhood Later Than Sooner. It's motherhoodlater.com, and it's for women and men who became a parent over age 35, and which is me. And I share that because that was actually the path to my getting involved in theater, and it's kind of unusual. And what happened was my organization hits the sweet spot of women over 40 because that's who buys tickets. So I've worked a lot over the years on a promotional level with lots of different shows on and off Broadway to consult with them to reach my demographic and beyond through social media and my database and all kinds of other creative ways. And for a while there was a big trend in mom shows. And I don't really know what that was about, but there was like P is for parenting and in
Oh
mother
yeah.
words. And, it was kind of like a thing. And a lot of the shows doing mom blogger nights. And you mentioned I was involved with one, and that's true. So it was really popular. And so what happened was I heard of a show that was at the Geffen in LA. It was called In Mother Words. And I don't even know what possessed me to call. It was one of those things, Jim, and I don't know if you feel this way as well, but I have always felt that if my gut tells me to do something, I might not know why in that moment I'm doing it, but I try to listen to that. So my gut told me to call the theater. And I called the theater, and I don't even know what I was saying. Some cryptic message, hi, Robin Gorman. And I there was a mom show here because it wasn't even playing anymore. And I just left this message with my name and number, like anybody at the box office.
Yeah.
I mean, that never happens. Well, guess what? A couple of weeks went by, and one of the producers called me. And I couldn't believe they even got the message, first of all. And we had this lovely conversation. And it turned out the show was coming to New York.
Wow.
And that was the surprise. And that was why my instinct was telling me to call, but I had no way of knowing that. So it came to primary stages. It was Motherhood Out Loud, and they offered me the opportunity to get involved. And
Mm.
I didn't even know what that meant. And I said, well, what does that mean? mean? Get in, how exactly? And then putting in some money and investor. I'd never done that before, had never even thought about it. They sent me the script, and it was just one of those things where I just knew I had to do it. Again, that voice in me was rising up and saying, "This is for you." And I remember going to my husband and saying, there's this mom show coming. And they approached me about investing. And I feel like I need to do this. And he was like, okay, like, do what you need to do. And so I did. I dove in immediately. I became an associate producer. It had a successful run at primary stages. And what I loved was, because it was a smaller venue, they allowed me
Yeah.
to really dive in and help on a marketing level, do some events with them, reach out to
Mm,
local publications. I was like practically living in the theater, and I felt
right.
home, like I was
You
in
felt
my
comfortable.
element.
You were in a place,
Yep.
your Zen place, your zone, your
Yes,
bliss, place of bliss.
exactly.
You were
It
supposed to
was my
be
home.
there, right? Yeah. And that's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, right? When you feel that deeply like that, that is a very positive and beautiful thing, because you take that energy, you're feeling so comfortable, content, so at home, and that
Hmm.
just allows everything to pour out of you in such a beautiful way, you know?
It was really profound. And what I loved also is that I was spending so much time there. And my son was young at the time, he's 18 now. And he noticed that I was going there a lot. And one day he said to me, "Mom, can I come?" And I thought, well, wow. First of all, I was so touched that he wanted to come. But then I thought, well, I don't know. Like, should he come? Because it was
Right.
not a musical, and it was not a kid show anyway. It wasn't inappropriate, but it wasn't like kid friendly per se. But I was so touched by that. I reached out to one of the lead producers and I said, my son is young, but he really wants to come. I said, "Can you stay in the back row on the aisle somewhere?" Because it was 90 minutes through, so there's no intermission. And I thought, I don't even know, will he get through this? Because I just didn't
Yeah.
see any entertainment value for him. But they said, sure. And I brought him. What? He got through it. And I was just so pleased. And that's one of the things that theater has brought into my life, is that it's allowed that connection for me with my son. And I've always
Yeah.
been more of a girly girl, and
Sure.
he's not a sports kid, but he's a volunteer
Yeah.
firefighter, and he's into technology, and those are harder things to share. But the fact that we can
Yeah.
share theater is so special, and I'm really grateful to have that.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, there's so much residual sometimes that happens with all of this that we don't realize. And this is just another example of how the arts bring people together. And during
Yeah,
the times of pandemic or anything else, people turn to the arts in its varying forms, whether it's music or television, radio, nostalgic movies, of course, theater. All of it is, and even, sculpture, photography, the art of gardening, whatever it may be, the creativity, and to have that outlet. It brings people together in such a communal and intimate and profound way, and can reconnect people
yeah.
too, because of the relatability of it all, right?
Yeah, well, I think you've hit it on the nose, and that's one of the hard parts, especially half, because people have compared this time to 9/11 being another devastating situation for New York in particular. But after 9/11, we had the arts, like none of that closed. So, as horrific and traumatizing as that was, we had outlets, we had things to share, we had ways to comfort ourselves and be with people and be in places like theater that we love. And now we haven't had that for the
No.
past year and a half. And for me, I always knew that would be a thing. I did not need this time to realize that. But I certainly hope that other people who maybe weren't so big into the arts, or did enjoy it but didn't realize how much it meant, are really feeling it now, come back in droves and support theater when it opens and it's safe and it feels good, because theater needs support and we all miss it so much. And hopefully that will be a of this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, in addition to theater, I am fascinated by the love coach part of all of this as well, and we'll return to the theater component of your bliss, your passion, and your life. Um, Tell us about how the whole love coach aspect of this developed for you, Robin.
Well, what happened was back in my single days, and I met, and it always felt like such a challenge. I felt like I was going out there, pounding the pavement, and not just, being active on the scene, but trying to figure out where to go and spending a lot of time doing that. And this was like pre-web or just on the cusp of the web. So I'm kind of dating myself now, and it feels like I'm talking about the Stone Age when we think of how far we've come. But because of that, I was doing research a lot. And it occurred to me one day, wouldn't it be so great if there was a source, if there was almost like a Zaggett's type book that people could look at and have a reference and get ideas from? And that was where my first book was born. That was How to Meet a Mensch in New York. And it's broken up by categories. And I tried really hard to think out of the box so that I could give people new ideas. But it was crazy though, because I wrote it during my first year of marriage, which is not something that I recommend, doing a dating book as a newlywed. And we were living in a small apartment, and
Was
my
he
desk
was he subject matter for the book, or without realizing it?
he was subject matter of the second book for sure,
Yeah.
the How to Marry a Man. The first book, he was really just kind of putting up with it. And I was also working full time. I was a publicist in New York City. So researching this book and working full time is not an ideal situation. And we lived in this small one bedroom, and we had this tiny mailbox. And I remember I would come every night from the city to piles of like magazines and catalogs, because I was calling all these organizations and different venues to get on their activity list to find out what was going on, to research the book. And it was like insanity, really. It was so much work. But it's when the book came out, it was life changing for me, Jim. And I honestly didn't see that coming because I was a publicist. So I certainly knew how to promote this, but I really never thought about promoting myself. And despite my experience, I did not anticipate what happened. And I actually wound up on the Today Show on
Yeah, I mentioned that.
CNN. I was a
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, like big stuff. It was crazy. And I was a regular on Good Day New York. I was profiled in the New York Times, more than once. And the biggest surprise, and it makes me laugh actually, was in Britain. The Brits love the word mensch. And I don't know
Yes.
why, you
Yes.
know, it's like it's a funny word because
It
it's one of
is.
those words that, if you know it, you love it because nothing takes the place of it. But if you don't know it, it's like
Yeah.
you need to know.
You need
And it
to know.
inspires conversation. Yeah,
And the
it's like
sound of it too, the sound of the
right
word
there.
mensch is sort of like one of those words that sort of stands out like curmudgeon.
And people like uh,
Nobody knows how to
some
spell
people
curmudgeon,
live in
but they know how to say it.
right. Well, mensch, they don't know how to always spell it
Spell that
either,
either.
per se.
So I was saying that Craig
Right.
Allen on WCBS News 88 had said, "Jim, you are really a mensch," and I
Well,
appreciated him saying that. It's a good thing, folks, in case you're not sure.
that it's a high compliment because you know what? Like,
Yeah,
there's no other one word that takes the
that
place of mensch. It
summarizes.
requires explanation. Yes, exactly. It's like a whole compendium of qualities.
Now, you also, the work that you do as the love coach. Tell us about that. What is some of the work that you do with folks?
Yeah, well, what happened was after the first book and all this press attention, I started going on the lecture circuit. And one of my friends said to me, you really should offer personal advice And she was right, because everyone's situation is so different. And so that was part when the second book got released, which was How to Marry a Mensch, because there was so much press for the first one, but the first book was just a tri-state book. So it really made sense to have a follow-up book that could be sold everywhere. And when the second book came out, it reflected my love coach work. And what happened was I didn't even know what I was doing. Again, it was one of those things, Jim, where I just got to follow my gut. And I always sort of believe sometimes that if you put something out there and if it's meant to be, like you create it and they will come, that
Right.
kind of thing. And like you did with your show, you created a show and people loved it and now they come, in droves. So it was like that for me. And I went on the Joan Hamburg show, which was WOR
Oh,
radio.
yeah.
Is
Yeah.
she,
She was
Joan?
great, huh? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lovely woman. And she was one of my early supporters of Mensch. And I was also a regular on her show. And one day when I was on, I just decided to announce that I'm now available for one on one consultations. And I figured if the phone rings, I'll figure it out. And part of me was hoping the phone wouldn't ring because I didn't know what to do
Or
about
maybe,
that.
4 or 5 calls here and there.
Right.
However, what
However, the
happened
phone
from
rang.
there? You had to put in a
More
phone bank in your basement, right?
kind of, yes. Like, be careful what you wish for sometimes. And I smoke. Like, now the phone is ringing. Now I have to figure this out. And who am I? What is it that I'm actually offering, and what can I call myself? And when I first started, I called myself a personal trainer for your love life, because I thought, that seems relatable, because how many people join a gym and actually don't show up? And it's kind of the same thing with dating, because a lot of people feel like they're out there spinning their wheels, trying really hard, but there's actually things they could be doing better. So I thought, okay, that's a possibility, but kind of a mouthful, personal trainer for your love life. So then I thought, well, maybe social strategist, why don't I say that? But then I thought, well, that's very technical. And then I thought of love coach. And I actually think that I might have coined that term, and I can't prove it, but I have the website lovecoach.com and I've had it for years. And now it's become a thing and other people use it and they say dating coach as well. But that's how I became a love coach. And now I work with singles, all ages, the world. I can Zoom, phone, whatever works for you. And what I do is I'm not a matchmaker, although if I can match someone, I will. And I always keep an eye out for my client. But my focus is really to get people to think out of the box. And I create a personalized socializing plan of action for someone. And I can also help with their online dating efforts and review that, but I point them specifically in certain directions that I think could serve them. And I come up with ideas and send them websites. And I become like the lookout, researcher, cheerleader person, all of the above for all the clients that I work with. And I have clients who've gone on and gotten married as a result. And I don't push marriage, it's what you want for yourself. But I think it's
Right.
important to, kind of take a hard look at yourself sometimes, because people tend to do what they know and what's familiar. And sometimes it takes that third person, that objective party like me, to come in
Yeah.
and say, you know what, like it might just not working for you. And how can we change this up? And what are you comfortable pursuing now?
Exactly. I want to show the books too. Here's that. Yeah. How to Marry a Mensch.
Mhm.
Matter of
Behind
fact,
me as
because
well.
and behind you as well, because Alessandra, she asks, so how do you catch a mensch? She's in North Carolina.
That's a great, yeah. Can I respond to that? Because I love that question.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah. Anybody who has a live question for our Tony nominated producer and also the love coach, like me, she wears many hats. Any questions you
Yeah.
have, posted in our super chat, and we can get them in here. Yeah. Who did the artwork for the book? It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, what I'd like to say to
Oh,
that
Barry
question,
Ruden's
because
watching. Barry Ruden's here. Welcome, Barry. Yeah.
oh,
Barry Ruden's
cool.
here. Yeah. Welcome, everybody.
If you want to mensch, get involved with volunteer work. That's my biggest tip.
That makes
Give back.
sense. A lot of mentions do, right, volunteer work,
right?
things of that nature. Right.
Exactly,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
because if you
Yeah.
want to be a good person, and that's what we're talking about here, then they would be doing that, hopefully.
Right. Exactly. The musical inspired by the book. Now tell us about that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
so the musicals, so exciting. I was actually approached a number of years ago, and that's kind of an interesting story too. It was an idea to create it as a musical. I was approached by a Broadway producer, Randall Reggett, who passed away unfortunately, and he had taken me
Yeah.
under his wing, and he was inviting me to different and things. And did you know Randall?
I never knew him personally, but there's a lot of mutual friends and colleagues. Yeah.
And he mentioned the musical. There should be a mention of the musical, and I kind of thought he was crazy. And I was like, oh, all right. And he wanted me to write it. And I said, want me to write it? I said, but I'm not a trained playwright. And he said, well, it doesn't matter. And I said, well, what do you mean it doesn't matter? He said, well, if it's not good, we'll make it better. I said, well, okay, but that wouldn't feel good if it's not good. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I said, can I write it with someone? And he said to me, speak to my attorney. So I spoke to his attorney, which was a complete waste of time because he echoed everything that Randall said and said that it's more complicated, it's more complex than a prenup. He said, if you're going to co-write with someone, and I was like, oh, okay, then skip that. And I was still kind of resistant, but I decided to take some playwriting classes. And then I was actually studying at ESPA, which is Primary Stages, NYU, Gotham Writers Workshop, a whole bunch of places. Still kind of fighting it because I felt so close to the material and I really more wanted to contribute than write it. And one day I went to see an off Broadway musical that was called The Kid, and it was written by a guy who's now a friend of mine. Michael Zam was the book writer on that. And Michael is now Emmy nominated for Feud on FX, and he has a really thriving career in film as well. And I did, and he was involved with other projects, so he could not, but he took me under his wing as a coach. And so I was writing it, and then he would critique it. And we had this back and forth, and he was amazing. And I was really hopeful that maybe I could do this. And then Randall passed away
Ah,
unexpectedly. So I never got to show it to him. And I tabled the whole thing because I was grieving and I lost my cheerleader. And then fast
yeah.
forward, I unexpectedly got involved in theater, as I shared earlier, as an investor and then producer, Motherhood Out Loud. Then I went on to talk about Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 and other shows that I've been part of. And I started mentioning it to colleagues. And a lot of people knew Randall. And every time I met such enthusiasm around it. And I thought, you know what? Like Randall would want me to do this. And I was actually in the market for an attorney for a while because I didn't have one now that I was involved in theater. And one of the attorneys I spoke to introduced me to a gal who was a writer and director, and she wanted to be part of Mensch. And I was finally now sort of digging my heels in and deciding, okay, I'm not going to write this because it really wasn't what I wanted to do. Wound up connecting me with the gal, Fern Kershaw, my producing partner on Bench. And we had coffee, I remember, or lunch actually at my local diner. And it was kind of like one of those you had me at hello sort of things. We just really clicked. And I wasn't pitching Bench. I was just sharing that I wanted to do this one day. And the second time we got together, she went, I want to do this with you. And I was so touched, and it was so unexpected. And now we've been on this journey of creating the musical, and we just finished hiring our full creative team, like literally like 2 weeks ago, and which has been so amazing. And it's been one of the things you asked me, what have I been doing during the pandemic? And this is one of them,
Yes.
is
Wow.
to bring everyone to be developing and employing people at this time feels so good. And we're excited because it's early, so we feel like COVID won't affect us. And our goal is off Broadway. and beyond. We'll do regional and wherever else it's meant to be. And it's meant to be Broadway. We're totally open to whatever the path is that makes the most sense. But at the end of the day, we just want to move people, and the messaging feels really important for me. As I started to share earlier, that why are we having this conversation around menschhood? Because it matters, and it's not
Yeah.
going to be shticky or borscht belt or Jewishy. We don't know what the title will be. It'll have mensch in the title, but we want people to think about how they're showing up in the world, who they're
Right.
choosing. And like the subhead that we're playing with, for example, the subtitle is "It takes one to know one to find one."
I love that.
And that
That's
really feels
perfect.
right. It,
Yeah.
it, it feels heartfelt. And
Yeah. Jane in Sweden actually has a question. She goes, "What's the difference, between a love coach and a marriage counselor?" Well, obviously, the marriage counselor, you'd have to be
oh,
married first, but a love
right.
coach is for before, during, and sometimes after, if there is an after as well, right?
Well, I think a love coach can be unique to each love coach. For me, for example, my work is with singles.
Hmm.
So I don't get involved on the marriage end. There might be some who do.
Yeah, yeah. So, what are some of the things people are struggling with that you see these days? Is
In the
money always
dating
still a
world,
big one? Yeah.
interesting. The word men, and one of the things that I hear, which always surprises me, although I should be used to it by now, but women have said to me, you know what? I don't want a mensch. And I'm like, well, why? Why wouldn't you want a mensch? You know why, Jim? Because they feel like a mensch can't be sexy. A mensch might not ride the
Well,
motorcycle.
right.
Like, look at you. You're a
They don't want to date the mensch, but they want to marry the mensch. Cycle through
it's
the
like the
non-mensches and then say, you
right.
know what? I think the mensch is the one that's gonna make sure the roof stays over our head and is gonna, be there for the kids and all those things and be loyal. And although, that's not the case for everybody, but I think that's sort of like a thought process for many that depending on the individual, because everything is case by
Yeah, I
case.
mean,
Joan goes, "Ha ha, Jim. Yeah, I
right. I mean,
know. She gets it.
exactly.
Yeah, the mensch you marry, the
If they
non-mensches you
reach that
date."
conclusion, that's great. Right.
But
Marriage
that's not the
versus
way it worked for
dating.
you, right?
No. And you know what? Like a mensch, I mean, if someone treats you well, if someone has your back, if
That's the
someone can
bottom
make you
line.
laugh, if someone is responsible, I mean, those are things that are desirable. And if you're consciously not looking for that, then it's also a reason perhaps why you haven't had a good relationship.
Alessandra says, "Took me 28 years to realize a mensch is the one I want in life." Now, I also heard in my professional work in television and radio with a conversation I had with somebody on the television side of things. And she was talking about soulmates. And she was talking about
Mm,
how it doesn't necessarily mean that the person you're married to is your soulmate. There can be soulmates that are not necessarily the people that you are married, some of the person that you're married to, or that's
mhm.
married to you, because soulmate really is something different. Sometimes we confuse and lump soulmate into, well, I've got to find my soulmate. You can have more than one too, and none of them would be somebody that you're married to. It's a different thing, right?
Yeah. And I think that, is growth also as you get to be older. You want different things, you know yourself better, you have a consciousness, and the choices that you make will potentially look different. So I think at the end of the day, whatever you call it, if it's a soulmate or you're looking for that mensch or whatever it is that you want for yourself, I think it's just important to look inward first because it is an inside job first. And it needs to work both ways. It's not just about what you're looking for, it's also what you have to offer. And I think you just really want to have clarity around that. And I'm working with a couple of women now in their six, and one of them is widowed, and she actually was divorced and then widowed. So two losses, different losses.
Yeah.
And she's trying to bounce back from all of that. And because she's in her 60s, she hasn't dated in a long time. And the world looks very different now, and all the online stuff and the Clubhouse meeting options, because there's a lot of singles on Clubhouse
Tinder and all
meeting
these
up.
different things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A lot to, it's cool because there's options, but it's a lot to navigate too.
You got to be on
And that's
TikTok
also what I,
dancing,
yeah, Instagram,
going to
exactly.
the
Like,
diner and having tuna melts and coffee isn't just the only way anymore.
that's a little retro. I mean, hey, if it works for you though, you never know.
A good Long Island diner.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a, but so you love this work, huh? Yeah, I mean, congratulations on the books and then the fact that there is this musical in development. I think June had actually mentioned that to me, and that's
Okay.
exciting. How long has that been the dream, and then in the process of coming to reality, Robin, for you? I know, of course, it's a major process: funding, the creative, the
Yeah.
production, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, where we're at now is we're at the treatment phase. So they have about 4 months to write the treatment. And then if we, assuming we green light that and we're good to go, they have 6 months to write the whole shebang. And then we'll be doing workshops and readings and all of that sort of stuff. So, in terms of timing, I don't know. I'm guessing maybe 2 years out, from a theater, maybe sooner. I don't,
Yeah,
it's hard to
right.
say for
There's so
sure.
much every day with the Delta variant changes everything. I know it's
Yeah,
um
exactly.
Jane has a question going back to the love coach part. I know that's of interest. She goes, now she's watching in Sweden. She's one of our regular Lovely viewers, and late at night there in Sweden. She goes, if someone's had a bad history uh, in being capable of trusting people, even a
Mhm.
mensch, and they prefer an animal for the rest of their life, what is your advice? So, meaning a pet, like
Right.
I don't. She means dating somebody that's an animal, because there are some of those out there as well. You want to avoid the ones that are animals. There's a few animals out there. You live and
Yeah.
learn. But if you become very attached to, because when you have the pet, that is unconditional love.
Yeah.
So she's asking about that situation where you get so close, I guess, to the pet, and you've had bad experiences, you can sort of shut down and turn off. How do you
Yeah.
deal with that?
Pets are great, first of all. So if you love an animal, that's wonderful. But an animal is not a person. So I think at the end of the day, it's really what you want for yourself. And see, that's where someone like me as a love coach can help, because one of the questions that I ask, I'm not a therapist, and actually a lot of therapists refer their clients to me because I get proactive with them. But I do ask, what was your last relationship and what happened there? And if there are patterns, and I'm not sure if that's what you're suggesting here, but if there are, and that's not uncommon, then what you need to do is take a look at that and figure out, why are you making the choices that you have? Why have they not worked out? Is there a way to change that for yourself? And is there a way to possibly reframe what it is that you think you're looking for, or perhaps what it is that's bothered you? Because maybe the things that didn't work out for you weren't as big as you seem to think they were, but in the moment they just felt like they weren't right. So I think you would need to explore that. And at the end of the day, again, going back to what I said earlier, Jim, like, it's always about trusting your gut. And if you're someone who can learn to do that, I think part of what you might want to do is get quiet and just see what comes up for you, because then maybe then you'll gain clarity around what your life has looked like so far. And if you really
Hmm.
don't want to be with someone, I mean, that's cool too, because you know what, I have a lot of friends who were single, never married, and they're not unhappy. So
Right.
you don't have to partner with someone, to find joy in your life. It's just what you want your life to be.
Right, exactly. Another, I think, comment came in. Merlin in Ontario, Canada says, "Can a woman be called a mensch?"
Yes, definitely. The origins are British and the origins are male, but it's actually pretty mainstream, and it is a woman or a man.
That's fantastic. Rose
Yeah.
says, "Robin, so looking forward to seeing your show come to fruition." Jane, that's true, Robin from Dawn. Jane says, "I meant had to obviously to have a pet. You can almost trust animals better than people sometimes." That can be true sometimes as well. And Rose says, maybe you can be your own mensch. Is that true
You,
too?
you yes, you should be. It is important to mention yourself.
That's
And
really,
it
really
makes you more appealing too, right? Because if you feel
right.
good about yourself, then somebody would be more likely wanting to be with you.
Right. There's that understanding. Absolutely. I want to go
Yeah.
back to the extraordinary theater background as well. And again, if you guys, while you're here live, post some questions or comments for the Love Coach, Robin Gorman Newman, as well as Tony nominated producer, going back to the producer and investor and creator hat.
Mhm.
We have some fabulous photos here too, along that line and in that vein. Tell us about this, being involved with that.
Natasha Peer and the Great Comet of 1812. That
Yeah.
was the first show that
Josh
I came in
Groban
as
and yeah.
Danae Benton. It was my first producing gig on Broadway. Loved it. I adored the show. I was invited on. The first time I saw it was at ART in Massachusetts. And
Mm-hmm.
it had been off Broadway. It was at Casino in New York City after it was first off Broadway, even further off Broadway, I should say, at Ars Nova. And when it was at Casino, it was at this tent. And I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you saw that, but I used to
Yeah.
pass that tent. I never understood, like, what is that tent
What is that
exactly?
about? Right.
Yeah, and I didn't go in for some reason, but then I was invited on to, I had invested in Sylvia, which was on Broadway, and that was the next show that I got involved with after Motherhood Out Loud, and that was my
Mm-hmm.
second investor scenario. And from there, I made the decision that if I got involved with the show again, I wanted my name on a playbill, and that meant I needed to either go on as a producer or invest a certain amount of money to get that credit. And I was invited on to Natasha Pierre on the Great Comet, and there was a bus that was going out to ART to see the show because it was being tested there after off Broadway, before Broadway, to see how it would translate and to see what they needed to do because it was an interactive. It was just amazing. And so I didn't know if I wanted to go on this bus. And I gave in and said, yeah, stick me on the bus. And it was kind of crazy because it was like 3 hours, back and forth. And I didn't live in the city and I had to get there really early. And they were passing vodka up the aisle to get into the Russian mood because the
Yeah.
musical was set in Russia. It was
Yeah.
based on Tolstoy, and it was just nuts, Jim. And we got there, and I was exhausted or the show, and I was completely blown away. And I just left, and I said, "Wow!" It was like one of those things again. I think I need to do that. That same feeling that came up for me when Mother Out Loud was offered to me. Once again, I had that conversation with my husband. I just saw the show and I think I need to do this. And he was always very supportive. And he said, okay, like do what you need to do. So I did. I signed on as a producer, which was a big leap of faith because I had never raised money before. And I had a very quick raise because it was transferring very fast from Massachusetts. And I was kind of stressed out, you could say. I had my cell phone like glued to my hip because I was reaching out to people all over the place. And you just never know who you're going to meet and who's going to be interested and when that call is going to come in. And in some cases, it came unexpectedly. One of my doctors became one of my investors. And I came on, I made it, what I needed to do. And then next thing I knew, the show got Tony nominated. We got 12 Tony noms that year, the most of any show. And I became immediately Tony nominated out the gate. on my first show, and it was just insane. And my husband and I went to the Tonys, and my son was pissed because he wanted to go,
Mm.
and we didn't bring him. He was a little young at the time, and it was just surreal and like an amazing year theatrically. And we lost to Dear Evan Hansen,
I mean,
and
not too
I
shabby as well, right? Yeah.
no, I love that show as well. And I kind of had a feeling once because I saw that show before the Tonys, and I just felt like we probably just lost the Tony, having
But
seen
to
that
even
because it just
to be nominated as, I mean,
oh,
12 out the gate on top of it. Not many people can say that, huh?
no, exactly. And we got the most of the noms that year, and we won two of the Tonys, and that was great. And it was just a beautiful production. It was interactive. I'm so grateful looking back that it was done when it was, because I don't know at the moment with everything going on with theater how you would have even done a piece like that, because the actors were all over in the audience. They were giving out pierogies. They were giving out shakers, these little egg shakers that people were playing along with, and it was just so much fun. And every place angry sat the theater, there was no conventional stage. And they built this little, I don't even know what you call it, like a little music den kind of, where the small orchestra was. And otherwise they ran all over the whole audience. And I loved it. It was so communal, and Josh was an absolute sweetheart. The cast was so grateful. Almost all of them were in their Broadway debuts. Everybody was so humble and kind. And I'm still in touch with many of them to this day. It was really this huge warm and fuzzy feeling. And they were doing so much. I was part of the Broadway recording I got to witness, and there was a comic book that came out, and there was a book signing, and Josh got his picture at Sardi's, and just, I could have been in the city like every night doing something comic related. And it was just really joyful having that experience. And
That is
it'll be a tough one to,
amazing.
but
To
I'm on
Yeah.
actually two other forthcoming.
Congratulations on that. Linda Odell says, congratulations. Good to see you, Linda. Welcome as always. As always. Merlin says, congratulations on the first show as well. And Linda's watching in Florida. Love to see Linda there. And here's another great photo, Robin. Tell us about this one.
Yes, that's me and Andrew McCardle after a show that I
Yes.
saw. He
Annie,
was
which
in.
people may remember. She
Yeah.
was the original Annie on Broadway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't
And,
get starstruck a
and I
lot,
believe,
but every now
yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
she, I believe, was married to Ed Kalehoff, the prolific producer of jingles, television themes. He wrote the Price is Right theme for the game show, The Price
Oh,
is Right. And he's just one of those prolific theme song writers. Matter of fact, you may remember in New York, do you remember when Channel 4, WNBC, had that promotional campaign? Here, I'm putting my TV hat on. We're for New York, and to be singing.
oh
He
yes.
wrote that.
Mhm.
He wrote that.
Oh,
And the female voice is Andrew McCardle. Yeah.
oh. I
Yeah.
didn't. That's an interesting factoid.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was quite a evening there for you, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I love her. Annie was one of the first shows I saw as a kid.
Yes, right. And how many times my sister did for and still does saying the sun will come out tomorrow, bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think
That's a good song
that's
for now.
yes, exactly. You're a mind reader, you're intuitive. I was just about to say that's a perfect song for our times. Absolutely. Here's a great
Yes.
shot. Tell us about this one.
Oh, that was me and Michael Severus.
Yes.
When I saw Fun Home. Fun Home. I loved Fun Home.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's another great one too. Look at this shot.
That is me and Jane Seymour.
Jane
When I
Seymour, yes.
was, yeah, I think in that instance, I was writing a piece for my website, motherhoodlater.com. And I was doing her, she was a later So
Very nice person, right? A
it
real
was,
professional and
she
yeah,
was lovely. Yeah, our hotel room in the city.
very, very nice. Fantastic. We got another great shot here too. Now this was you mentioned the appearances on Fox 5, WNYW, Good Day New York. There you are. That was exciting,
Oh
huh?
yes. When I'm back in my big hair days, that's when I was getting perms, I think. Yes, I was on a regular basis, right? You see the big hair. Wouldn't mind having some big hair now. I wasn't on Good Day.
See what happens when you have the big
Was
hair.
fun,
You're like, wow, I have the big hair. But then later on, you're like, gee, I wouldn't mind some of that big hair to return. It's funny how that is, right?
right? It's all relative.
It's
Yeah.
all relative. It
Good.
really is. And I love this one.
Oh, that was a Broadway con, and that was they
Broadway
had one
Con.
of these
Yeah.
booths. Yeah, that was I think 2017, and
Mm,
that was the like the Natasha Pierre round. Hence the red. See the little logo there. So it was me
hmm.
just having fun with some signage in the booth there.
That is really, really cool. I love it. And here's another great shot.
That was me in front of the theater. Great comment. It was
Yeah.
so exciting because the it was to see my name on the posters, to see my name in the playbill. It was kind of how I felt when my book first came out. One of my greatest thrills was I said to myself, I just want to see somebody reading the book. And
Yes.
I remember when I went to Barnes and Noble and I saw somebody in the aisle sitting there and thumbing through it. And then I thought, well, I hope she buys the book and doesn't
Yeah.
just thumb through it.
Well, some of our viewers, our lovely viewers, have already said that they've gone to Amazon and are already looking at getting the book as well. The books, so
Ah,
cool stuff. Yeah, we always have. Well,
great.
since we're live, we always have instantaneous reaction here on the show. Of course, Mr. Josh
Oh,
Groban.
gosh. What is the yes? A mensch, for sure. In fact, a funny
Yes, Josh
story.
is
I'm
definitely a mensch. Yes.
super sweet. And it was cool actually, because I remember being at the opening night party, and which is what I think that is the opening night party versus the Tonys. And his parents were there, and I had the chance to meet his parents and his brother. Lovely people. And I went over to his parents and I asked them, how did they raise a mensch? What did they do with Josh? And what tips could they give me, if anything? Because my son was young then and I was open to advice. So
Yeah.
we had a lovely conversation, and you could see the apple doesn't fall far from the tree there.
Right. Exactly. Right. Very, very special shot there. Absolutely. And lots of levity in that shot for sure.
Oh,
There's another
oh,
one.
that's Diane Lane of, and that was at a fundraiser for oh god, I'm blanking what the event was, but oh, it was for the Ziegfeld Club, and it's an organization that the gal who founded it, I think it's her grandmother, one of the Ziegfeld Folly girls,
Mm,
and Diana's good friends with her. So she was at this event supporting the organization. And one of the things that they
special.
do is actually offer grants to rising women composers, which is so lovely.
That's special.
Yep.
Another great show. Thank you, Austin Field. Appreciate that. And thanks for watching. Another lovely viewer here on the Jim Master Show Live. Here's another great shot, Robin.
That's Norbert Leo Butts. I
Yes.
love Norbert. He's one of my favorite Broadway guys. Also, like super kind. And that shot was taken because I'm a supporter of the Lily Awards. And the Lily Awards is an organization that was founded to raise awareness and to present opportunity for more women in theater. And on this particular evening, they were honoring different members of the theater community who were involved with givebacks and organizations that were supporting particular causes. And
Hmm.
Norbert was actually one of the ones who was honored, and it was really quite profound the organization he was involved with launching was dedicated to his sister, who was killed in a hate crime as a lesbian.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's just a beautiful person, and I really loved meeting him. And I don't get a lot of fangirl crushes on people, but um,
But you did on that one. Yeah. Another great shot. Tell us about here. Yeah.
oh, that's Danae. That's Danae Benton,
Danae.
who was
Yeah.
the female lead in Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet. And that was actually taken, that was a cool thing. When you get involved as a producer and it's early on before the show is in theaters and you have a chance together with the cast and the creatives and the team and the other producers and to get to know each other and talk about the forthcoming production. So that was actually the first time that I met Janae. And it was her first time on Broadway. And she was lovely and kind and just thrilled to be part of it. And, I was grateful to meet her.
Oh, sure. Seth. Yes. Tell us about this.
Uh, that is my son, and that's Ashley Perez Flanagan, who was one of the comic people in the chorus, I guess I would call it, but so
Yeah.
much more. I mean, they're I hate to even say the word chorus or whatever they
Yeah.
would refer to them as, because honestly, everybody in that show was such a huge talent. I didn't
Yes.
even realize it actually, Jim, until after the show had closed, because then I had a chance to see some of the concert or to listen to their albums, because they all had other things that were going on too, and have
Hmm.
since done other things since the show has closed. And it's
Yeah.
just amazing to hear the voices on them. So that was my son when he was younger on set at Comet.
Very
and
nice.
and I loved not just taking him to shows with me, but to have a chance to give him that special opportunity. And you could see that what you're looking at here is this was the actual set, and there was not a stage. So where you're looking at is actually where a stage would have conventionally been, and
Yeah.
they gutted the whole thing. And if you can see that there were some seats around that, and that little area, you can't see the full thing, but it was like in that section where the musicians were. And then
Yeah.
those little seats that you're seeing, and those little round tables, almost like cocktail tables. And then if your eyes go further up behind where they're standing, they were actually like these banquettes that were built in. And you could sit there. And then if you look even further up from that, like all the way to the top, that's where some of the actors entered. So you, depending on where you were seated, sometimes they entered from there, sometimes they entered from the side, sometimes they came from the back. So there was no bad seat in that theater, and every place you sat gave you a different view and perspective. And I sat in the theater, and I loved being in all these different places. And it was such a good reason to go back more than once, because every time I went, I noticed something different that I hadn't seen before. So that was really cool.
That's amazing how that happens, right? It could happen when you read a book. It can happen when you look at a photo or a painting. It can happen when you listen to music. Each time you go back to it, you see and hear various essences and nuances that you didn't hear the very first time, which is amazing. Ah, here's another
Yeah.
great shot.
That Annalie Ashley, who adore on a Broadway person, would probably be her. And this was taken at the opening night party for Sylvia, which was on Broadway, and she was one of the stars in that. And if you know the show, she played the dog, because it was a dog role. Sylvia was a dog. And that
Yeah.
was the first show that I got involved with as a Broadway investor. And I loved it. It was so much fun. And it was Matthew Broderick was as well. And they were quite a twosome. And what was interesting is it was originally off Broadway, and the role of the dog was played by Sarah Jessica Parker. So when Anna Lee Ashford took over the role on Broadway, and then Matthew stepped into the male role, it was kind of funny how it had come full circle, because now and Matthew had been at the show, but at different times. And Anna Lee is such a sweetheart.
She really is, huh? It's great when you work with people who are, you know what I mean? Doesn't always
Yeah.
happen that way, but when it happens, it's definitely amazing. There you go, Matthew Broderick.
Oh, there's Matthew. Yeah, that was at, I think that was the opening night preview, and they had like a little mini mixer and got him to take a photo. He was not the most thrilled, I don't think, at that time,
With the
but
photo?
no, I think just having photos taken. I
Yeah.
think I felt like he was a little more on the shy side. Matthew, nice guy, but
Remember his father,
not
James
his.
Broderick, the actor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I never met him, but I know who he is. Do you know him?
brilliant actor.
Mm.
I remember he starred in the very popular Aaron Spelling drama on ABC, Family, with Sada
Oh
Thompson and
yes,
Christy
yes.
McNichol and Meredith Baxter Burney and Gary Frank and Quinn Cummings. He played the father, the husband, Doug Lawrence, the family drama set in Pasadena. Great, great, great series. And James, yeah, he passed away early too, his father, in the early 80s
I remember
of
that.
cancer. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Ah,
oh, that's my son when he was little, and I took him to see Sylvia, and that was another one of the shows that I got to share with him. He was always my cheerleader, going to shows that I've been involved with. As I said earlier, that's so special for me.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Life moves fast. And the Tonys.
Yeah, that's the Tonys. That's myself and my husband Mark, and I don't even have the words to describe that evening. It was so surreal, and it was just a complete thrill. And it was very hot. I remember
Yeah,
that it was held at Radio City, and
yeah,
I was all dressed up in a gown, and the air conditioning was not working so great that evening, and it was like
mm.
unseasonably hot, and I thought I was like having hot flashes or something, and, which I never had. And I thought, oh, please, like hot flashes, they cannot be starting like at the Tonys. That cannot be
At the
happening.
Tonys.
Um,
Yeah.
Could you imagine? But it wasn't. It was just genuinely hot in there. And I was like, whoa. And we got out, and then we had to get over to the Tony party, which was amazing. It was at the Plaza Hotel. And they had these buses that were there were shuttles to take you, but it was so hot, and there were lines to get on the buses. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And I'm wearing
Yeah.
heels and this
Oh,
gown.
yeah.
So we wound up, calling, I think, an Uber or a cab. I forgot how we even got over there. And it was such a late night, because by the time we got out of the Tonys, it's like a whole night thing, because when you watch it on
Oh,
TV,
it's an
you,
investment. Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
and you don't even realize, because you're on TV, you have the commercial breaks, and you have a chance, if you're watching from your home, to take a break and go to the bathroom or get a snack or something. But when you're there live, like, you are there, and because you have to get there early too, so it's really an investment. And then when you leave and then you go to the party, it was like so late. We didn't get to the Tony party until like midnight, and you're first, milling around, and it was so exciting. I love the plaza. And then we had to get to the party for Comet, and because I didn't want to not show up there, I had investors who were there, and I really wanted to celebrate with everybody. And by the time we got to that party, I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't think we left the city until like 4 a.m. We were up like half the night making the rounds, but it was like a dream, a sweaty dream, but a great dream. And I hope to get back to the Tonys again one day. It would be
Worth
such
it.
a joy.
Definitely worth it all. That's for sure, right? Hot weather and everything.
Yes, hot
Well,
weather
see,
and everything. I'll take it.
At the Tonys, you don't sweat, you perspire. Do you
I think
remember
I was
Jim
doing
Jensen?
both.
Yeah, I was gonna say, remember
Yeah.
Jim Jensen on Channel 2 in New York, WCBS, Channel 2 News, legendary anchor Jim
Yeah.
Jensen? He was saying that once. They were talking about sweating and things of that nature. And he said, um, it was, he was saying it funny off the cuff. He said, television news anchors, we don't sweat, we perspire.
Right.
Write that down, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we perspire.
Exactly.
That is funny. So you're loving the ride. You've got your, hands in a lot of different projects, and how much of the time is devoted between the theatrical world and the love coach world?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it ebbs and flows. I've been doing a lot of Love Coach Zooms for the last year and a half, and I have a
Yes.
whole bunch of new clients now. It's been interesting because and inspiring to me because one of the things that I like to share is that just because it's been the pandemic and a lot of people feel like they're not comfortable getting out, and myself included, I get it. It doesn't mean that you can't meet people. It
Right.
just looks a little different now, and there's a lot of real opportunities. So I've been working a lot with Sync for the past year on that and getting them to sort of pivot the way we've all pivoted in so many other ways, but to pivot their social life as well. So that's been really gratifying and keeping me busy. And the theater stuff is, I'm also on two other Broadway shows that are coming. I'm on A Face in the Crowd, which is inspired by the iconic film rather. That's Ilya Kazan. It is going to be a musical, and the music's being written and the lyrics by Elvis Costello. The book
Wow.
is Sarah Rule. Yeah, it's incredible, and the director is Rebecca Teichman, who won the Tony for Indecent. And I'm also a co-producer on The Nanny, which is the forthcoming musical inspired by the TV series,
Fran
and
Drescher.
that's being written
Yeah.
by, yeah, Fran is writing it with her ex-husband, who they did the show together, and Rachel Bloom is the composer lyricist on that, and
Nice.
Rachel's a creator and star of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, if you don't know who she is.
Yeah, that is cool.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
exciting things coming up, huh?
yes, yeah.
Wow. So, what are some of those? I like to ask the guests sometimes, what are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life that inspire you to not only want to, continue in the arts and the theatrical world and be a part of all this creativity and these monumental productions, but also the love coaching and inspiring and empowering others? All of this, both things provide joy and solace and peace and happiness to others, both the love coach work, writing, as well as the work, within the theatrical world, Broadway, off Broadway, and more. Um, what are some of those continued blessings and joys in your life, Robin, that inspire you to do all of it?
That's such a beautiful question. I think, I mean, I'm blessed to have love in my life, for sure. I'm blessed to have people to share this with, combination of my immediate family and good friends and colleagues, all of whom adore theater as much as I do. And as far as the theatrical work and also the love coaching work, I would say that I feel really blessed to help other people. And I've always been gratified by doing that. And I have always felt, Jim, that if I have a need, I'm never alone with that. And whether it's through theater, which, as I said, has the power to change lives, my love coaching work, if I can help singles to find love or feel good about themselves, that makes me feel good. And even motherhood later, the organization that I said I started, I mean, the whole reason I launched that is because there's strength in numbers. And when I became a mom a little later in life, I felt judgment, and I was never someone who was really conscious of age, but suddenly I became conscious of it. And I felt, you know what, if I could create this worldwide community, which is, we actually have chapters over the world, then that would be so helpful and supportive. And I think at the end of the day, it takes a village. And I'm gratified and grateful to feel like I found my peeps. And that I have people who have my back. And at the end of the day, that is worth its weight in gold.
Well said and beautifully said. And that is exactly so correct. It really, really is. And you're just getting started, kiddo. Just
Oh,
getting
thank you.
started. And there's somebody here, speaking of mensches, that you've probably seen, who's sort of like my co-host here. Mr. George Burns is in the house, and he greets you and he
Oh,
says hello.
hey,
You get to have
George.
the official Gym Master Show George Burns greeting and hello.
Oh, bring it
He's
on.
into the whole mensch thing. And of course we remember when he played God in the movie, right?
Yes.
He's got a
Yes.
cigar. He's all dapper, and he says, "You're looking good tonight, Robin."
Oh, back at you.
So,
He's a classy dude.
oh, absolutely. He dresses to the nines all the time here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Alessandra says, "Robin, you are now part of the Lovity family," and I agree.
Oh,
And
thank
Rose
you.
Levy says, "Robin, so happy that you are blessed." June, our dear friend, says Sylvia was hysterical.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And cool stuff. Some really wonderful things that are happening. And lovecoach.com, I know, is the website for the Love Coach as well. And
Yeah.
this was amazing. We chatted for like an hour and a half. Could you believe that? It doesn't even, everybody says when they come on the show, it never feels like that.
I know. Yeah. I mean, when you speak from the heart, and I do, and I know certainly you do, then time flies because it just feels really authentic.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, Robin. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, and the show met whatever expectations you had, and you'll spread the word about our series to everybody, and that you enjoyed yourself as my guest, and with all of our live lovely viewers watching around the world as well. It was a pleasure having you here, Robin, and we'll keep the porch light on for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was my pleasure. And yes, I enjoyed. And who better to share a mensch conversation with than a mensch himself? And that is you, Jim, for sure. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, the pleasure is mine, my friend. Pleasure is mine. And hopefully we'll be getting together. We can break
Yeah.
bread, which would be really, really nice. Um, some more comments coming in here from our viewers, our lovelies. Jim, you are such a gracious host. Thank you for all the wonderful guests. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate those comments very much, very much. Dawn says, too fast. She wants even more. I love that. And Maureen in Arizona says, Robin, keep on living your best life. It's full of excitement. And Alessandra says, Robin, you're now part of the Lovely family. Absolutely. You are great, Robin, Alessandra says in North Carolina. And Dawn says, I'm glad I got to meet you, Robin. And Sherry in Kansas says, thank you, Robin, for spending the evening with us. If you weren't doing what you do now, Robin, what else would Robin be doing? What else would you be doing?
Wow. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I would say is that I wish I knew then what I know now. I was actually an economics major in college,
Were you really?
and I was like my class. So if I had known then about the opportunities in theater that I know now, I think that I would just be involved in theater in other ways as well. I would have maybe pursued a career in theatrical marketing, or maybe something in the management arena, and still producing because I wouldn't want to give that up. But I would have just dug in a little deeper in other professional ways. I think that would have been really well suited to me. But I didn't know back in college.
Never say never. You never know. Life
It's
has so many twists and turns, right?
Yeah, prior to that anymore at this point. I'm actually really happy with where I'm at. And to be even developing a musical inspired by my book is honestly a place that I never thought I'd be.
Right.
So it's I don't know how I could top that. I'm open. I'm always open to possibility and whatever the
Absolutely.
universe wants to bring my way, for sure. And I'm happy to
Absolutely.
talk with anyone who might want to get involved in theater as well, and to share about the projects. A lot of people approach me about how to produce or how to invest and what is theater about. And it's my pleasure to talk with anyone if anybody feels like
Yeah.
reaching out.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on the show. And Alessandra says, Robin was a needed guest. I love that. Very beautifully said, Alessandra. And Rose says, Robin, thank you so much for this evening, sharing your thoughts and becoming an honorary lovety on the Jim Master Show Live. We say it all the time, Robin, as you know, as a viewer of the show, you can get an Oscar and Tony, an Emmy, a Grammy, a Telly, a Peabody, a Grammy. But when you get a lovety on the Jim Master Show Live, whew, pretty cool, isn't it? Are your toes tingling right now?
I'll take it. It definitely feels good. You have to make a button or a little statue
So you can
or
walk
something.
around town, right?
Yeah. Some
Well, I like.
swag. Love it. Swag.
Well, I still like the 12-time Tony nominated Out the Gate. That one I like.
I mean, yeah. I remember when
Yeah.
I was screaming literally when
Oh, I don't
I'm
doubt it.
surprised you didn't hear me yelling when that came through. Which
Yeah.
just shows, you know what, like first that it's never too late. Anything is possible. And the one thing that I learned so much in my experience of being on Comet, especially, and having to raise money and being new, no, being new doing that, is that no is just no for now.
No, it's
And
just no
as
for now, right?
yeah, and anything that you want to do in life, if you're getting the no's for whatever reason, maybe it's just not the time right now, but it doesn't mean that it won't be and that it won't come back to you. So,
Right.
hang on to your dreams.
That's it. Hang on to your dreams. That's right.
Yeah.
Never lose sight of the passion. Exactly. And
No.
you certainly haven't, Robin. And you've graciously shared it, a little of it with us here on the show tonight. And again, we'll keep that porch light on for you. It was really a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us for all this lovely and lovely haul on the Jim Master Show Live. We will keep that light on and keep me posted on all the cool things you're working on. And I'm sure we'll get together probably in the city at some point, and that'll be a
I
pleasure. And
would
again, I
love that.
really hope you enjoyed the time with me, Robin, as I certainly have with you tonight.
I did. I did. It was a pleasure, Jim. Thank you for having me. And thank you to all the warmth I felt from the listeners and all the comments.
All
It
those
really meant a lot.
lovities.
Yeah, a lot of mensches out there. You attract the
Okay.
mensches.
And you are now one of them in
Oh,
Lovety Hall. You're officially in Lovety Hall. I tell
works
you,
for me.
it just came out of my mouth last summer, and look what has happened. The rest is history. My friend, you take care. Have a good night. As I say to all
You
the
too.
guests, go stretch those legs.
Yes.
Get the circulation going again. It's almost an hour and 45 minutes, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. These shows are so epic all the time. We like to, we always like to have a good time and not just rush it, really
Yeah.
learn and see, just let it flow. Applause, applause, applause. Absolutely. Thank you, Rose. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right. Take care, Robin. It was really a
You too,
pleasure.
Jim. Good to
You
see you.
you as well. You as well. You be well. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll chat again soon.
You too.
Okay.
Sounds good. Take
Take
care. Bye,
care.
everybody. Stay well.
You too. Bye bye now.
Bye.
Robin Gorman Newman live, the Love Coach, and also Tony nominated producer live from New York City tonight for all of you here on the Jim Master Show Live. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself, learned a little bit more, maybe about the industry, about theater, musicals, about love and relationships, definitely about a mensch, the meaning of a mensch. I'm sure you know mensches in your life, or maybe you are one yourself. It's a very good thing. and really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the activity. Thanks for watching. This episode will be available for you 24/7, 365 on our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. And while you're there, we would love it. And it really does help us big time. People ask me all the time, how do I help the show? I love the show so much, and you mean so much to me. And, you've been such a positive light through the pandemic and so much more. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the YouTube channel, click the notification bell, comment, leave a comment on the YouTube channel, click thumbs up on this episode, and continue to tell everybody you know about the Jim Masters Show Live. We created a really special, cool place here. Every show is something different, whether we have a guest or not. Most of the times we do, but there's sometimes I pop on and it's just us. And sometimes we've done theme shows, holiday shows. We've done so much together. Really, really absolutely amazing. And now 430 episodes live of this epic broadcast called the Jim Masters Show Live. Rose says, Jim, did a great job. You are a mensch. Thank you very much, Rose. I will take it. Alessandra says, night all. Dawn says, I'm going to bed now. Class dismissed. You can go to bed. Absolutely. Maureen says, what a great way to kick off the weekend. Thank you, Jim, for such an enjoyable conversation. Now go stretch your legs. This is coming from a medical professional, a nurse in Arizona, Maureen. So I will get those. We always go for the walks along the coast before the show because I know I'm going to be sitting for a while, but it's a beautiful night here. It really is. It's 68 degrees and clear at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. Lovely hugs to everyone. You as well, Maureen. Absolutely. Hey, gang, I want to let you know we've got an amazing guest tomorrow. If you love pets, guess what? Live from Los Angeles, celebrity and nationally certified pet sitter, Heather Branch, who you've seen on television, a lot of the TV shows as a guest expert. She's been called upon in movies and films and talk shows and so much more. And she's amazing. Unconditional love for sure. We're going to be talking pets and so much more. Something fun, part of the lifestyle part of the Jim Masters Show Live, entertainment lifestyle talk show series. Our show has something for everybody. That is tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be on at 3 in the afternoon Eastern time, which will be 11 a.m. Pacific, and it'll be a great, great time. She's a renowned, nationally certified celebrity pet sitter and so much more. And she's going to be here on Saturday afternoon. It's going to be perfect timing for a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, right? And then on Sunday, live from Ireland, 16-year-old phenom, music and chat with Irish soprano Ruby O'Kelly. She's going to perform live too. Now that's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and that will be 7 p.m. in Ireland, Scotland, and England. Yes, Heather is 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. So that's noon Pacific tomorrow, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, with Heather Branch. That's Saturday. And then Sunday, live from Ireland, Ruby O'Kelly. Absolutely incredible 16-year-old singer, songwriter, Irish soprano, all excited. Got lots of music for you. Coming up next week as well, we have love ambassador and optimistic and bliss coach, Edie Weinstein. She's going to be with us as well coming up on Tuesday of next week. She is all excited to be here. We thank our guest tonight, Tony-nominated producer and the love coach, Robin Gorman Newman, joining us live from New York City. Don't forget, the channel you're watching right now is Jim Masters TV, a channel dedicated to entertaining, informing, educating, and inspiring. And the show that you're watching, Jim Masters TV, is the YouTube channel, and it's home to the Jim Masters Show Live. If you missed this episode or any of our episodes, they're available 24/7 on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Show it some lovity and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to share the lovity. Don't forget to find your Zen place. Mine is with loving family and friends, of course. I always say that. And then I love cycling. I'm a cyclist. I love tennis. I love music, writing, sports, gardening, and the ocean. This is actually the South Shore of Long Island. This is the Atlantic Ocean. This was taken at Robert Moses State Park and Beach on the south shore of Long Island, New York. That's the Atlantic, that particular photo. And it was sunset. I swim, surf, boogie board, sail, and love the ocean. I grew up near it, and we're near it here in the New England area on the New England coast, and we love it. I also love my work in television, radio, stage, film throughout the years, on air, on camera, behind the scenes. That's another Zen place as well. Find your Zen place, gang, and share it, whatever it is, your skills, your talent, your hopes, dreams, your beliefs. Share it with the world. And everybody's welcome to join us here, It doesn't matter your height, weight, income, religious views, political views, gender, none of that jazz. Everybody's welcome to join us, and hopefully you have a good time when we turn the lights on and we present the Jim Masters Show live. Good night, all. Have a great night to you as well. Sherry Larson says good night and day, everyone. Thanks, Jim, for another amazing evening. My pleasure, gang. My pleasure. Jen Barry says, I just cooked Ken and I warm spaghetti dinner and warm dinner rolls. Yum, slancha, or salute. You got salute for this one. Cool. Enjoy your dinner. And good thing to have. I'm getting hungry too. Again, we thank Robin for joining us. She was a pleasure to have on the show. And we thank all of you for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live. For us, JMS Live team, we thank you for being with us, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow, again, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, with the nationally certified, renowned celebrity pet sitter. We're going to talk pets and family and unconditional love and so much more with Heather Branch live on the Jim Masters Show Live. Gang, have a good night. You take care. Go stretch those legs. We love you all, and thanks for the support of the show. Thanks for all the comments, the tagging, the sharing. That really helps this show and this series continue to grow. Spread the word. Word of mouth is some of the best promotion out there. And thanks to those of you who've done that so far. You're absolutely the best. It's duly noted as well. And find us on our Facebook group as well, JMS Live Lovely Hall. We have a Facebook group for this series too, JMS Live Lovely Hall. You can also find me at Jim Masters TV on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. All right. Ken is going for a second dish of that spaghetti. Guess what? You're going to be dancing kitchen wiggles for you, because I know you love our theme music like Jane in Sweden does. You like the theme song to the Jim Masters Show Live. So Jim Masters singers and orchestra, get ready, because our viewers want to hear the theme song once again as we take them out for their weekend. Good night, gang. We love you all. You take care and be well. See you on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.